Today's video, we're going to be having a look at the McFarlane toys, The Walking Dead. This is Color Tops number 39, and this is Ezekiel. The figure stands at 7 inches in height. And by stand, I use that term very loosely. Ezekiel has the worst time to stand. I seem to find this as an ongoing trend with a lot of the McFarlane toy releases, that the figures just don't stand well at all. I think a lot of it has something to do with the fact that the feet are angled in such a way they look like they're almost slightly angled up this way, and if you flip the figure around, it looks like the feet are slightly bow-legged. This results in a figure that just topples over from time to time. Luckily, they do come included with a Walking Dead display base, which is, yes, the same stand and base that we've seen with all the other figure releases, with a little bit of texturing up at the top there. It could be ground, it could be gravel, it could really be anything. It's just black molded plastic. Character's name is not featured on the front placard, but instead you got AMC The Walking Dead. One display peg hole on the underside of his foot, so it only tells you, yeah, there's only this one foot that you're going to be able to peg him into place. At the very least, it allows Ezekiel to stand up. On his own, though, next to impossible. Before we delve deep into the figure itself, we'll look at his accessories. He comes with his staff, which has like a little eagle crown top part to it. It's in a very nice looking gold with some what looks to be some additional paint added to it as well. It just kind of helps to fill in some of the little creases and crevices, makes it stand out a little bit more. The handle, or the main shaft, I suppose, of the walking stick or staff, or scepter, I suppose, if you will, is that of a slightly lighter shade of wood. It's got a little bit of grain to it as well, and that same gold that started at the top also finishes off at the bottom there as well. And you get a little bit more of that darker kind of color, just dry brushed on the bottom there. You can go ahead and take the top portion of it and slide it out, and then you reveal Ezekiel's sword-bladed weapon. It's painted nicely in silver. Paint actually is, for the most part, really good. The handle seems a little on the pale side, but otherwise it's a really nice looking blade. You can have him displayed really with both in hand, or really you can have him displayed with this on one hand and display him as if he's pulling or retracting out the blade with the other. And that fits into his hand. Actually, it fits in his hand relatively easy. The best means I find to do it is just simply slide it down into his hand until you get the section of the staff that you want to have on the hand gripping part of it. Speaking of hands, Ezekiel also comes with another hand. I almost feel as if this hand is unnecessary, because really both hands that currently he's holding, or in the socket areas, do such a sufficient job on their own. I really don't see necessarily why he needs to come with another hand. He does come with another hand, so I feel compelled to show you. There is his other hand. Okay, so let's take this out of his hand, and I want to talk a little bit about this figure. One thing you probably are saying to yourself, and one thing I will comment on it immediately to it, is he looks absolutely nothing like Ezekiel. He has Ezekiel qualities to him, certainly the hair, certainly the jacket, and just overall the kind of look that he has looks like Ezekiel. However, the face looks nothing like Ezekiel. I really don't know what they were taking the model from, but interestingly enough, if you look at the packaging, which I just so happen to have still here, I don't know what's happened along the way. It could actually just be a case of shading. Shading very well could have done it, but the eyes almost seem like they're a little bit bigger also. You could easily chalk this up, I suppose, to just bad paint. If they had maybe darkened the areas around his eyes, perhaps that would have helped give him a closer look to Ezekiel, because as it stands currently, he looks absolutely nothing like Ezekiel. He looks like a guy that's cosplaying as Ezekiel. Got a good enough costume, but you can't overlook the fact that his face doesn't really look like him. But so I don't know really what's happened here. There again is the box artwork. From first looks, it does look like it's the same head sculpt, perhaps, but it's just badly paint applied that's causing the figure to ultimately look nothing like him. He looks a lot like him here, looks nothing like him here. Moving on from the more critical complaints to this figure to the otherwise positives, like the outfit that he is wearing looks nice. I do like the long tailored jacket that he's got, also with the little furred collar on either side. Underneath that is his star printed shirt, which for the most part actually does look pretty good. McFarlane again feels the need to throw dirt onto it, but it's always never looking like dirt, or never looks old. It just looks like, let's take some lighter brown and slap that everywhere. He's done that a lot with the Stranger Things figures, and he's also done it here with a lot of the Walking Dead figures as well. He does have posability in his legs, but try as I might, I still can't get the figure to properly stand upright. I don't really know what's causing it, but I will say this, his lower legs are extremely loose. I have not had this figure out of the packaging for very long at all, and already it feels like that joint is just broken on the figure. This one's not as bad. This one here is extremely loose. There's really no excuse when you get the figure just essentially out of the packaging. I haven't roughhoused this figure, I haven't been running around, I haven't been throwing it at walls, and yet ultimately the lower leg is a little on the loose side. Speaking of posability, his head does rotate left to right. Some nice detailing there also on the back with his feathers. I will give it this, everything on the figure is painted well, minus of course a little bit of the brown schlop that's added here, but everything on the figure is painted well. If only that could translate to a better head sculpt. The arms hinge outward. The arms rotate all the way around. He does have a bend at the elbow. He technically has what you could consider to be a ratcheted joint, but I don't feel as if it does click. If you can hear it right there, it does click as if it is a ratchet joint. I don't know why they just don't put like a regular ball joint or regular ball hinge joint in there. Hands rotate all the way around. He's also got the hinge back and forth happening there. Nothing from what it seems in his shirt. His legs do, however, split out. Yes, a little on the limited side, however, because of the nature of the way the jacket is. Also got the bend at the knee, which also rotates the lower leg. Yeah, really bad over there. And he also has a rotation in his feet. These would be more considered, I suppose, action figures, as McFarlane likes to use that term a lot, then I would consider it being a statue. As a statue, it does have enough posability for it that you can do some pretty, not outrageous sort of poses, but at the very least you can move his arms, you can move his legs. Mileage may vary because really you're only going to have so much of a display base size to work with. As a collector of the Walking Dead color tops, I would not expect necessarily Ezekiel to come with his tiger. I think that would be wishful thinking. What I would expect though, and I don't think it's that hard for me to be asking of this, I would like the figure to look like the character he's based from. I'm not really sure what the departure ended up happening where the back of the package looked fairly close to Ezekiel, and ultimately that's not what we got in plastic form. It could simply be a case where the head swap or the head sculpt is the exact same, and just due to lighting or just due to a slight change in paint, the one on the back of the package looks more like the character than what we actually get in figure form. This figure, for all the things it potentially could be, it really lacks the most in where it needs to be, and that's in its head sculpt. It just doesn't look anything like Ezekiel. The rest of the body is somewhat decent, but again, quality. The quality on these color tops is questionable. Some of them are not too bad, others are just deplorable. Ezekiel has extremely loose legs for no reason whatsoever. Literally taking this guy out of packaging, he has loose legs. That may not be across the board, but I really do think McFarlane needs to go back, not to the drawing board, but really just go back and have a look at the way that the figures are put together. I feel like the quality on these sometimes is questionable at times, and at the very least with Ezekiel here, head sculpts. You may want to have the head sculpt look a little bit closer to the figure or character that you're basing it from. A slightly more disappointing color top today, as we were having a look at the McFarlane toys. The Walking Dead, this was color top number 39, and this was Ezekiel. Didn't come with his tiger. And his head sculpt doesn't look anything like him. If you guys haven't had a chance to hit that little subscribe button down below, hey now, come on. Make sure you do so. You'll never miss a beat when it comes to future videos. Of course, many more videos will be coming your way. That's how it goes on this channel. Lots and lots and lots of videos coming to this channel. Thanks for watching, as you always do, guys. I'll see you next time.